Alright, YouTube, it's been a while. Okay, so I want to get at you with a video of a recent pickup and in a new space, so kind of recording things a little different than before. But just to jump right in, so scoop these up for a song. Just take a quick look at the box labels so you can see what you're dealing with here. I can get this thing to focus. There we go. So we have a size 12.5, my favorite size of all sneakers, which I have a fair share of, but they're not the easiest to find, especially in an OG. Obviously the 12, black varsity red, white and metallic silver is clearly labeled. Got a cool little box sticker there. And box is definitely kind of beat. Shoes don't look real pretty at the moment, but they're an easy clean, and it is an original box. And I just figured I'd show you the shoes in the shape they're currently in, shipped straight to me. Get that out there. So anyway, they are original pair of playoffs. They do have the laces. I've already removed them from one. And they're creased and they're dirty, but they aren't very worn. And still even got the black tissue. I love that non-tissue tissue paper, plastic stuff like I started using in the Retro 4s this year to keep it more authentic to the way they used to release. It doesn't yellow your kicks, and just lasts longer, and it actually provides a little bit of protection between the pairs. So that's always a good sign to see, even if a seller wore their shoes a fair number of times. So I picked these up literally for less than $50. With shipping, I think it might have been $60, and the seller actually did a pretty good job of protecting the box from any worse damage than it was already in. These were laced crazy tight for whatever weird reason, but that is the original laces, and same goes for the one I've already removed. So the goal on these obviously is just to get them clean, just to give you a little quick more of a run over of the look of the shoe. Just really probably the whole shoe is a little bit dirty. It's just obviously going to hide better on the black. Soles are notorious for looking trashed on these because they're white, but they're pretty easy clean. And the part I'm always impressed with is, if I'm going to work on a pre-owned pair, is looking at sole wear, because then you still got some serious life left, and it's worth putting some effort into getting a pair to look as dead stock as you can, at least VNDS. And there's a little bit of heel drag here, but the herringbone traction pods are nice and grippy. They're really got a lot of traction. They don't feel slick. And even the traction in here, which sometimes that gets worn down on heavier footed guys. I know my flu games I don't have the bumps on these two ridges, which I've actually had to recently re-glue. These are nice and tight on the carbon fiber. They're not needing re-gluing. And then the Jumpman that's supposed to be black, unlike the 2012s, so they changed it to red. Red's my favorite color, but I'll take an OG over a retro any day. So I'd rather have it black. Anyway, so this is what we're dealing with. We got creased toe boxes. We don't really need any paint on these. If I can decrease the sides a little bit without separating it, the glue, because I'd really rather not do a re-glue job if I can avoid it. There's some minor scratching, really light on the leather. It may actually buff out. If it doesn't, I can fill it in with some kiwi, or maybe even use a cotton ball and some Angelus black paint. Probably not going to worry too much about the tongues being decreased, simply because they're going to have laces over them, and I kind of don't care. As far as getting into the back, they have a lot of lint, whole lot of lint, which is for some reason really common with this terry cloth. It catches socks really bad. That's why you never wear white socks with black lined shoes. Lesson learned right there. So anyway, that's what we're facing. And in order to work on these, I just want to go over real quick some of the materials that I would use for a job like this. I'll give you a quick scan of the shoe as well. Now, if I get really picky, I may actually retro bright the soles. I've actually yet to create my own retrobite at home. Probably would go to Sally's or some beauty supply shop just to get higher end peroxide that has a higher percentage value of actual peroxide to water ratio so that it works better. This one, funny enough, has just a little more heel drag than the other one, but it still doesn't really show wear as much as this. The paint almost is missing from the rubber, which is kind of an odd phenomenon. You can see it on the 23 too, that little corner. But overall wear is pretty light on a, growing almost to a 16-year-old pair of shoes here. So what we'll be using to do this is all the basic stuff. I actually really like working on 12s. They're a great shoe if you're kind of a novice shoe repair, just kind of wanting to learn the ropes. You can usually find a pair of OG 12s for pretty reasonable, like well under $100. I picked up my OG Taxis for I think literally 35 bucks. They needed a full repaint. It took one fresh coat of black on the mud guards and then two coats of white, and they look almost new. They have very little traction wear. They have a ton of traction left. I should have shown those in the video too, but get to those some other time. This is actually a grail of mine. I love OG playoffs, 12s, playoff home, I guess you could call them as well. But they're to come across some with the original box tissue paper and in my perfect size 12.5, I can pass them up for under 50 bucks. So getting to it, this is the basic materials of what I'll be. These are the products I'll be working with to get the job done. Obviously, an iron, a white, and I stress white cloth. This is going to get soaking wet to be draped over. There's plenty of videos out there showing you how to iron. They do work. You have to keep things very wet and don't let it get too hot. I'm probably going to be limited to about 3 to 5 minutes per shoe before switching to the other shoe, and then maybe coming back and testing the temperature to make sure this isn't separating along here, because that is a notorious zone to have glue separation on. Iron is mine, so I can do what I want with it. That'll be cranked to probably the highest setting on mine is a 7 for linen, and steam all the way up, which my steam's on this side. We can always just hit the steam button if it feels like it's starting to jam up, and keep that thing loaded with water. Won't be using the RIT on these. I may use a little bit of sneaker cleaner, probably not much. My main weapon of choice is going to be Magic Clean Eraser. This one's 50% missing, but this will probably get pretty used up in working on the soles. I'm probably not going to get down to the nitty gritty and do all the stuff down here just because I am going to wear them. But I will be getting all that part cleaned up, which really just takes a few minutes. Magic Clean Eraser is probably my best friend when it comes to shoe cleaning. And then Easy Cleaner will likely be used, as well as a buffing sponge. I know Penguin makes some. You can get those things really cheap. The oiled sponges, I do have one in the other room. Forgot to grab it. But for the Easy Cleaner, you can use this, or you can just use a rag. And then in terms of stuffing the shoe, I will likely use either some old socks, unfortunately some RIP socks where one got a hole in it, so the other I kept and stuffed shoes with it now. I love those socks, but it doesn't have a mate. Same with this guy. Stuff the shoes, get the toe boxes nice and puffed out. And I'm not going to show exactly every step. It's kind of obvious what it takes to do, but I do want to show, this is what I would use to get these things looking about as good as this. So this is my size 12 OG pair, just to set them side by side here. I do like hash style lacing on 12s. I've never ironed these, so the creases are mild, but they've never been fully decreased. These actually ran me $100 a couple years ago, and they're in pretty impeccable shape. I probably won't part ways with these, even though I now have my ideal size 12.5. Haven't cleaned these things in quite a while, so of course they're going to show a little bit of dirt on the heels. They did get a good cleaning when I first got them, but they also weren't very dirty. So still had the stickers inside the tongue even. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with here with these, trying to get them looking at least as good as those. I really don't think that's going to be very hard to do. It's going to take some elbow grease and a little bit of time, but 12s are easy to work on, just to show the jump man in the bottom too. It is nice and clear if I can get the light on that. Boy, that is a hard shot to take. There we go. Yeah, so a lot of use there. I rip out all my insoles. I don't use stock insoles, especially on used shoes. Just kind of dirty. I save them, but throw them in the box. So that's the goal with those, and that is the products I'm going to use to get that done. Hopefully I'll come back at you with a finished video and have these side by side, and just to show off the sneaker of the day in honor of what's going to come here in the next 24-48 hours, because it is just before Black Friday. I'm just rocking my Countdown Pack 4s. These were a restore paint job. I only actually had to restore the white part, which is pretty glowingly white. I'm not sure if that's going to pick up. But I've worn these probably 3 or 4 times since then, and I'm really not seeing much in the way of cracking at all the way around the heels. Can't exactly see what I'm showing you right now, but and then on the rest of the midsole, I did touch up the black, mostly just with a paint sealer, and any crack spots I put a little tiny touch. The white though was barren all the way down to the foam. Any parts that were remaining I scraped off, roughed up the foam just a little bit with some emery paper before I started the paint. Alcohol prepped it first and then went to town. I believe these got about 6 coats, so it is on there nice and thick. I don't mess around when I'm doing it, and I waited at least a week, probably a week and a half before I wore them. Otherwise they're in pretty good shape, a few scratches and dings, but they're, for my favorite pair of 4s, they're holding up quite well. So that's the story on those, and don't want to make this too long, but that's my those are the 4s, those are the 12s. Thanks for subscribing. Appreciate all your guys' positive comments. Keep it positive. Let me know how things are working for you. I can't always answer everything. I'm actually about to be a new dad, but I will get to you as soon as I can. And other than that, peace.